Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Love Hour podcast. I am your host, MrsKevOnStage, and I am joined by my husband and co-host,
the Budgetnista. I'm Kev on stage.
the Budgetnista.
I'm Kev on stage.
And we are joined today. Well, first, I always do this backwards. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining us on the Love Hour podcast. We talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness as real life people who are not experts. Do not put me on a mantle or a pedestal, because I assure you I will fail you. But who we have with us today is none other than Tiffany, the Budgetnista, who is a New York Times best-selling author.
Woo, woo!
For her book that was just recently released called Get Good with Money. Please help me welcome her to the podcast.
And she's also NAACP Image Award nominee in the category of outstanding social media personality. I believe. Did you get your little certificate?
I did.
All right, cool. I got mine too. I'm finna frame it.
I do. That was so exciting. It was really cool, actually, when they did the nominees announcements to see I think 4 of the 5 I knew.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was so cool to be so familiar with some of the people. And I thought they did a good job.
They did. I was happy.
When I got the email, I'm not gonna lie, I said, oh, this must be like the other NAACP Image Award. Because I couldn't, you know what I mean? I had just woke up from a nap and I was like, oh, this must be like the junior awards or because I couldn't wrap my mind like, not me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Right. And then I was like, oh my God. So I told my sister, I said, something about NAACP Image Award, like it's the other one. She's like, ain't no other one. So she started screaming.
Ain't no other one.
When we were kind of, I think, had the same mentality. We were kind of floored, shocked.
Because the other nominees for the other TV categories were out.
Yeah.
So people had already been out. So okay, all right then. Then that happened. I was like, wait no, that's what? How? I seen people was nominated for Best Actor.
Yes. And then it was like, well, are we going to an event? Is this gonna
be? You know, I was mad. I was like,
oh, Tiffany.
I was like, I would have been like, hey, Will Smith, Jada girl. I was ready. My husband was like, ooh, are we gonna see some rappers? I'm like, slow down.
Listen, that was the first question we asked. What time is the party?
What do I do?
Why? So Melissa was like, when they was like, ain't no party. Then Melissa was like, I bet there ain't. I'm gonna make it for you. We
no, that was awesome. Party. That was awesome. First of all, once I was like, okay, I said, we finna win it. And I saw the nominees. I said, we finna celebrate either way when we lose. I was already like, it's okay. Because I said, congratulations, Tabitha Brown. I knew. I'm not even mad. I said, let me focus on my book. Because what I'm not going to do is give energy where energy is not due. Congratulations, Miss Tabitha Brown.
Literally what we did. We scrolled up and we said, oh, Tab, cool. Nah, you know, it is a blessing to be included. Sometimes the journey is more important than the destination, because you know what?
It's about the climb.
It's about the climb. Miley Cyrus started playing.
But just to be in the room is a blessing. I already said.
Listen, the Bible says your gift will make room for you. We in the room. Now we ain't on the acceptance podium.
Because no one had a year like Tab. Okay, nobody had a year like Tab.
Period.
Nobody. Our blessing for what we do, we've been here for a long time, little by little. We know about the Budgetnista for many a year. Tab was like, hey, what if I dominated for one calendar year and then an award came out that recognized that year?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're going to win that, Tab. And I love Tab. You can't be mad.
Yeah, I was. The fact that I was like, here's the thing. This is what I said to myself. I said, ooh, my picture's on top. That means on your way to vote for Tab, you got to see me. Hey. I said, brand awareness.
We need a brand awareness.
I love it. What is so funny is I think one of your, at least for me, one of your secondary hidden talents is marketing. I actually think that you are like
brilliant marketer.
Yeah,
brilliant marketer.
Genius marketer. So even the fact that your mind was like, but guess what? Brand awareness though.
Yeah.
When you were scrolling down, I bet you saw my picture.
And some days when you clicked on it, the Budgetnista was the first thing you saw. They rotated who was shown first. And a couple times when I went to vote for myself, I seen the Budgetnista and I said, okay. Sometimes it was me, Tab, and Desi and Carl. They did rotate it.
When it was Tiffany, I didn't realize they rotated it. Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah. But no, I actually went to school for marketing. That's my original degree. I love marketing. It's my second love to personal finance. Like I love marketing just to see like, am I able to get the message out there? Are you able to get awareness, to get people to be motivated, to move? And so I love it.
Oh, I love it. Well, for those of you who are listening and have not come across who Tiffany the Budgetnista is, please introduce yourself on the many things that you do and have accomplished thus far.
So I am what I like to call America's favorite financial educator. I literally just call myself that because I read one day
self-appointed, self-anointed title.
Yes, because I had read one day that Muhammad Ali started the whole greatest of all time, and as a result, everybody else. I said America's favorite financial educator. Yes.
I didn't know that.
It makes total sense that Muhammad Ali would self-anoint himself
as the greatest
of all time.
And that's very on brand.
Else just say
yes.
Well, also the things you do concur with that statement. Yes. So yes, I agree.
So I said, so I'm a financial educator. I'm an author, but at the end of the day, I'm a teacher. Before I started the Budgetnista, I actually was a preschool teacher for 10 years and I loved it. But the Great Recession, the one in 2008, 9, 10, my school was a nonprofit-based school. And so they lost their funding. But it was such a blessing, because as a result, I lost I was $300,000 in debt. This is credit card debt, student loan debt, and my mortgage that I could no longer pay. And so as a result of kind of rebuilding my financial life, a lot of my friends were like, can you help me too? Because they knew I grew up in a household where my father, who was a CFO and an accountant, he's got a degree in economics and finance. And so my sisters and I learned about money at home. So it was commonplace for me to be helping a friend with budget or credit or investing or savings. And so when that recession hit, it was really the opportunity to say, you can still teach, but it's just not 3 and 4 year olds anymore. There are adults, specifically women, who are needing to get back on their financial feet, and you can do that. And so the Budgetnista was really started about 2010.
Oh, awesome. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing that during one of the worst times of your life, you found this purpose and trajectory. Melissa and I were also victims of that. I get so mad. There's a movie called The Big Short. We talked about that housing crisis. Yep. And I don't know the guy's name, but the guy that Christian Bale. The Big Short
is literally what just happened to Blockbuster.
Yes, literally. And the guy, Christian Bale's character, he knew the housing crisis was going to happen 5 years. And I was like, why you didn't tell me enlist? Because we was over here before that. Everybody we knew bought a house. Yes. They bought it for 180, sold it for 300. I mean, her parents, our pastor, literally 8 to 10 people in our own just church, not to mention the people we worked for on the bank. But when we bought our house, the market was like, no, not you guys. So.
Literally. I'm the person that if I think it's left, it's probably right.
Right.
Yes. I'm like, yes.
We got one property of, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I
was just saying, we got one property advice that said your house went up. And the next one, your house went down for the next 5 years. Yes. And then it stopped.
It plateaued.
For a couple of years. Then it was $5. And then it went.
Then it was.
Yeah.
It was steep decline.
It was just don't. Now, you know what's crazy, Tiffany?
What?
We paid them same taxes though. As that value went down, the taxes.
Is that so crazy? Yeah. It's such a shame because honestly, even I still check on my condo from back then. It's never gotten back up to 220. Right now, that condo's is valued at 190. So I bought it at the height of the market. I think I bought it, I want to say 2005 or 2006. And I bought it for 220 and I thought it was grown. I was like, and then it went up to 225. I said, oh, look at me, smarty. And then it went down to 150. I was like, excuse me, say coming again?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I can't afford this mortgage anyhow.
Right.
So I ended up moving back home with my parents, which was so joyful. If you have Nigerian parents they don't care. I was 29 going on 30. My dad's like, well, you will still have a curfew. I was like, I'm sorry, what? He was like, there's nothing in the streets. I'm like, I got to get out of here. So you have no money to get out of here. So I suffered in silence for a year. It literally felt like I was 12 again because I was back in my middle school bed because my sister, my sister who was I want to say Lisa maybe was 19. So she was still at home. And so she had my decked out high school kind of suite in the basement. She was like, oh, sis, heard your back. Can't have this though. So I was in the middle school extra medium, a small medium bed. And then literally it was my mom's she called it her walk-in closet. So I'd be sleeping and she'd just walk in. I used to sleep in. I just need to give my distance. I'm like, I hate it here. I hate
Not
it
your younger sister being like, hurt your back. Welcome. Also, things have changed around here since you left.
Correct. I am now down here.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now. It was, but honestly, it was really humbling because I literally remember I turned 30 and it was like the night of my birthday and I was in the bed and I remember literally sleeping in the bed and like looking up at the ceiling and saying to myself, the last time you slept in this bed, I think maybe I was like 12 or 13. And I said, you had more money then because I used to babysit. I used to like deliver papers. And I'm talking about, people say that they're broke, but no, I had drained my retirement account, drained my savings account, drained my checking account to try to save the house, the condo. So I had about $5 in my purse. So I had more money at 12 or 13, maybe a few $100 from babysitting and stuff than I did at 30. And I remember being like, wow, look at your life. It's really bad.
That's a rude awakening.
It is. Sometimes in moments of rude awakenings, the only thing that can make you feel better is a glass of wine. And that's why we're here to tell you about Bright Cellars.
Nice. I thought that was Smile Bright. I was trying to help you, and I was like,
"Oh no,
but it's Bright Cellars." Oh, that's that one that came in the other day.
Yeah, that's the one that came in the other day. We
getting drank tonight. Let me tell you what.
We had a glass of. It was a cab.
It was an amazing cab. Shouts to Joshy Gons put us on the cab, and now we can actually enjoy cabs from Bright Cellars.
All you're gonna do is go onto their site. They have a really great algorithm. It takes 30 seconds to take the quiz, and the magic happens. And they will pair you with 6 wines to fit your taste profile. And I'm going to tell you, we were definitely introduced to cabs on behalf of Joshua, but since then I think I enjoy cabs at this point.
Yes,
that is true.
That's my go-to wine now.
It is. And they paired me with a cab. I don't like really dry cabs though, because I don't like really dry wines, but they paired me with this wine and it was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the date. I really, really did. For Love Hour podcast listeners, we are giving you 50% off your first 6 bottle orders from Bright Cellars. Head to brightcellars.com/lovehour.
Love Hour.
That's Bright Cellars, BrightCellars.com/love hour.
Love Hour.
To receive 50% off your first 6 bottle order. Help support the show by supporting Bright Cellars, and you will get 50% off your first order at brightcellars.com/love hour.
Love Hour.
Okay, so Miss Tiffany, you are at your mama and daddy's house. You are having this, I'm assuming, to be a very introspective moment, and it kickstarts your career as the Budgetnista.
Yes. So that same shady sister that would not give up my bedroom.
Yes.
I said, I was doing a lot of volunteer work because I was on unemployment, and they said, what you're not going to do is get this money without doing something. I said, I shall volunteer. And I said, but I was teaching financial, because I always used to be the go-to person for like, you don't know how to budget, girl, let me show you. Like, even when I taught preschool, the parents used to come in during nap time because I worked in the hood, and they would ask if they could hold something. Some of y'all don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And I would say, no, but what I can do is come during nap time and I'll show you how to budget, how to save. And I said, Lisa, what should I call myself, when I'm volunteering? Because it's at a lot of places where, like, there's teenagers and kids, and I just feel like something fun. And she said, well, the fashionista. I said, oh yeah. She said, yeah, that's not you because you don't dress that cute. I was like, she said, but you real cheap, girl. You should be the Budgetnista. Ha ha ha. And I said, you know what? Shady. I actually like the sound of that. And Budgetnista was available. There was nobody who had the budgetnista.com. And so I used it. I just started calling myself the Budgetnista when I would go out to volunteer at like Boys and Girls Clubs and things like that. But it really started to take off when I used to volunteer so much that the United Way in my city, Newark, they caught wind of what I was doing. They said, can you maybe come and teach a class here for our staff? And I did. And it went so well. They said, well, we get a lot of money from banks, and banks want to distribute it to the community, but they would like for them to have education first before they get this money. And so, they're like, do you have a curriculum? I was like, sure do. I did not. They were like,
don't let nobody know what they don't need to know. Yes, if money's involved, I have it.
Right.
What does it
they were
do?
like,
It'll be in your email.
They literally like, how many weeks is it? I said, it's a 6-week curriculum. I was like, I'm gonna have to first of all, I'm gonna have to figure out how to write a curriculum. And then one that's gonna go for 6 weeks. But I was like, They said, well, we just need a proposal. I said, I could do one of those too. I did not know how to do that. And they're like, can you have it in a week? I said, yes to all of that. And I was like,
hold on, Tiffany. I want to pause real quick.
After I do the education to figure out how to do those things.
Listen, there is power in the yes, I will have it. The job I got at All Def, have you managed a team like this? Yes. No, I haven't. Do you feel comfortable you can manage different people with creative energies? I have all this experience because I had 2 tellers when I worked at the bank. And they had to hand me referrals. I didn't manage them in any way, shape, or form. You don't need to know that information. Listen, men do this all the time. Men just be like, yes, and you should pay me extra for that. And then we figured it out along the way. Sometimes just say yes and figure it out instead of saying I'm not ready and no, because they're going to go to the next person who also going to be saying yes and ain't ready and give them the money. And now you done missed out.
So I was motivated by not wanting to sleep in that schmeedy in bed.
Listen.
And so I was like, what's it going to take? So I literally tweeted. I was saying, help! I need help writing the proposal. Anybody out there know it? I literally tweeted. I need to find that tweet. And then because of my volunteer work, because I used to, when I was volunteering, I would be bored. So this is back when Twitter was like literally people that like, it was very regional. So people who followed you like lived in your city, lived in your town. This was early on.
Yeah.
And so a woman, her name was Michelle Thomas. I didn't know that she was the communications director of the city of Newark, where I lived. And she said, I love all the volunteer work you're doing, because I used to tweet, anybody want to volunteer today with me? Because I would be bored, like, come with me. I'm going to go feed the homeless today. Anybody want to come? So she said, I love all the volunteer work you're doing in my city. So if you give me all of your stuff, I'll put it together in proposal form.
Wow.
I said, bet. And so that's still the proposal to this day. I use that proposal. And it has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so I gave it to the United Way, because I do have my master's in education. So the curriculum component wasn't totally foreign to me. I just never wrote a curriculum for finance before.
Yeah.
You know? And so the United Way, I remember it was, they paid me, I want to say $300 a week, which was enough to move out.
Yeah.
And I moved into, like, it wasn't like I moved out to my own apartment. I had to move into a room, like I just came home. And but it was a bunch of friends of mine had found this really nice townhouse, and they were like this brownstone, and they were like, hey, they're renting it out by the room. And my friend Joy was a teacher, my friend Diessa was a teacher, everyone. So because that's all we could afford, because we had all lost our jobs. It was $500 a month, and I said, I can afford that. And I lived there for like 3 years while getting myself back on my feet. I used to be like in magazines and stuff, like Essence be like, 5 people you should follow. Meanwhile, I'm like, from my room, I'm like, I'm in my room. It was really hard at first, but it's also joyful because I felt in control of my destiny. That I didn't like the fact, because I was a really good teacher. I used to win awards, teacher of the year, all this stuff. So I did a good job. And then it was just decided that I no longer had a job.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going back to that again, where I do what I'm supposed to do, but because other people have not, that I no longer have a job. I want to bet on Tiffany.
Yeah.
And so like, even though I didn't have a ton of money, it felt really good because I got to decide. Like I knew if I work hard, it's going to work.
Yeah.
One way or the other, I was going to force it to work. And so, the Budgetnista was born. I started working with the United Way. And as a result of working with them, other organizations like Prudential reached out. And then I started speaking at like colleges and universities. And I was like, okay. But as you know, in the beginning, it's tiresome if you are the rooter and the tutor. Like it was just me. So then over time, I started an online course called the Literature Challenge. It was just really what I did at the United Way, but online. So I said, can I speak to can it just be more than just me or more than just one to few? And the Literature Challenge, 10,000 women signed up the first year, then 30, then 40. Since it's been maybe like 6 years since I started my Literature Challenge, my annual challenges every year, and over 1 million women have signed up.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And they're all free. And it's just my way of giving back. But as a result, what I didn't realize I was doing was building a community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I had my first book that like I self-published, all my books except for this one. And so when my first book came out, like the 1 week budget, I'd written it when I was teaching preschool because so many people had asked me how to budget. So I wrote this book and I self-published it via Amazon. It didn't sell like a tremendous amount, but it was just so I could tell people, read this,
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but it took me like 2 years, I remember, to learn how to market that book. So to the point where it sold at least a few copies every month. My second book did much better because it was literally the Literature Challenge, but in book form. So the 10,000 women that signed up, many of them bought the book. And then that's when I started to learn to market even better. And then my community, I call them dream catchers. I'm like, Beyonce has the beehive, the Budgetnista got the dream catchers. And so, but through them, I've learned so much, 10 years or really 11 years in business. So when Get Good with Money came out, it was just like like a culmination of all of the pouring into my community, being of service to them. I have an online school, I have a podcast, Brown Ambition. And so we have just been like behind the scenes. People don't realize, like, because you see me on like IG, you're like, oh, Tiffany's so silly. No, it's an 8-figure year business. We cleared $10 million last year.
Come on.
You better, hey.
Come on.
Okay. Who horn tooted? Who horn tooted? Your horn tooted? You better toot that horn. What you talking? I think people think that because I believe in service. I think people think that like if you put service first, it automatically means brokenness, that you can't have. Because so many women I see, I'm sure you see this, Melissa, right? That so many women think that in order to be of service to their community, they can't possibly ask to be paid. Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, that's not true. And most of my things, I do so many things for free, but we have learned to monetize in a way because I want to pay my team well. Like, a significant amount of people on my team make 6 figures.
Wow.
And they look like me.
Listen, Melissa sent me a podcast you had done. I don't remember who it was with. She was like, you need to listen to this. And I listened to the Brown Ambition. I've been a fan. Oh. I was like, and I very rarely do this with podcasts. I didn't do anything else. I just listened. Mm-hmm. And your story is so amazing. And the way you tell it is so amazing. And I love to see Black women in positions of power. Listen, you say a couple of people on your team make 6 figures. Mm-hmm. I like that.
I love that.
I listen. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just want to toot a little bit.
Since we're tooting,
I don't know if a couple people make 6 figures, but I say our people do okay. Everybody do okay around me. Everybody do okay around me. My boy Josh over here, this little Mexican man. Listen, he got his own little house, little Tesla. He got a little glass of wine. You come over to Joshua's house. He gonna show you a good time. We ain't been over to his house. But listen, if a woman want to come over, and he doesn't work for Kev. He traveling out of town. He be golfing and whatnot. Oh, Becca, she got her little apartment. Oh, cute LA. Oh, I got a little place. I'm Black and I'm fashion-y. And that's just the people in this room.
I love that though, because it feels good that, like, I always say that I want to operate from a space where everybody wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I believe I deserve to win. The women that I serve deserve to win, but also the women that do the service with me. Yeah. My squad, so I call them my unicorn squad, because I tell them they make magic happen every day. Yeah. They deserve to win as well. It's like, because you have to be a good model of like what that looks like. Like you can do good work, help good people, and make good money. Those 3 things can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Love that. Before we get into the Get Good with Money, because you do have a philosophy between the difference between financial wholeness and financial freedom, we're going to take a break here. We're taking a break to tell you about Thrive Causemetics. If you know me at all, then you know that I am a whole makeup junkie. It is true. It is I did not go to any schools or anything like that. I just went to the University of YouTube, and that taught me everything that I do know and how I put on my makeup. And so I'm always looking for, different brands to try out. And that's how I got into Thrive Causemetics. They are amazing. Why? Because they are clean, high performing, skin loving ingredients. Their formulas are not only highlight your best features, but they actually improve your skin over time. They're never tested on animals, and they have a mission that's truly bigger than beauty. For every product purchased, Thrive Causemetics donates to help women thrive. One of my favorite products that I have been using consistently is the Brilliant Eye Brightener Set. It's basically just like an inner eye highlight. And if you're ever looking for just like, that little twinkle in your eye, that little look that looks like, ooh, is that the light, or are you like glowing? Like what's happening? That's what that product does. I absolutely love it. I use the darker brown shade because they do have colors that are for darker skin tones. And if you know me, that's the first thing I'm gonna look for. Okay, let's be clear. They also have a full line. They have a liquid lash extensions mascara, is their best-selling mascara that mimics the look of lash extensions without the damaging effects of glue or expensive salon prices. The other thing they didn't mention, I get lash extensions whenever I go out on vacation. They take a long time Like, honestly, getting lash extensions takes like 2 hours, and I don't always have 2 hours to give. The Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara has more than 11,800 5-star reviews and is a winner of the 2020 Allure Best of Beauty Award. I love everything about Thrive Causemetics. Their products are the best I've ever used, and their bigger than beauty mission is truly inspiring. You're going to love them as much as I do. Visit thrivecosmetics.com/love for 15% off your first order. This is an exclusive offer you can only get here. That's Thrive Cause, CAUSE, medics.com/love for 15% off your first order. Again, thrivecosmetics.com/love. I also want to tell you about BetterHelp. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been struggling today quite a bit because I had, some personal things kind of happen in my life. And I'm really, really looking forward to talking to my therapist about it. And I actually recommended someone in my family start therapy, and I sent them the BetterHelp link. It is phenomenal because it's very convenient, and it allows you to do this from the comfort of your own home. You can pick the day that works best between you and your therapist. You can pick out, just different aspects of your therapist that you think are important to you, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours. The service is available worldwide. Okay. It is one of the best things. Mental health, just like physical health is important, your mental health is important as well. And I'm so grateful to be living in a generation where we are destigmatizing mental health and actually encouraging people to get the mental health that they need in order to live a more fulfilling life. Right now, you can visit betterhelp.com/lovehour. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. This podcast is supported by BetterHelp, and the Love Hour listeners will get 10% off their first month when they visit betterhelp.com/lovehour. Thank you so much to our Love Hour podcast sponsors. Now we're going to get right into it. Okay, Tiffany. So listen, we still have a lot to cover. We're about halfway through. So you have 10 tips. But before we get there, 10 steps to financial wholeness, you actually have like a whole, I don't know what to call it, but like philosophy between the difference between financial wholeness and financial freedom. And I think probably for a lot of us, you would think those two things are interchangeable. So can you explain to us?
I was literally thinking, are these interchangeable? No, Kevin, you don't know things. Be quiet. And then you said you would think that. I was like, crap.
I think when you hear it initially, I think that's the thought that comes to everyone's mind. So can you tell us your philosophy between the difference and then where we want to be?
So financial freedom, it is a good goal. Financial freedom typically means that you have enough money that you no longer have to rely on earning money via a job. You don't have to work anymore you are financially free, that your money generates enough money that you don't have to work anymore. And so that is something that a lot of people work toward, but quite honestly, many people will not achieve that. You will, until like retirement age, maybe 65, very few people achieve that in their 30s and 40s. But financial wholeness is when these 10 components that I'll share with you, these 10 aspects of your financial life, create the strongest foundation possible that the rest of your financial goals and dreams can be built off of, right? Okay. So financial wholeness is the foundation. Financial freedom is just one piece of, your financial life. I don't have to work, but financial wholeness is I'm good across the board. Financial, right? So you can be financially free. I'll give you an example like Prince. We knew Prince was, before he passed away, rest in peace, that he was financially free, meaning Prince didn't have to put out no more new music. He owned his masters. He was good, but he was not financially whole because Prince died without a will, a trust, and an estate plan. So you can be financially free, but not be financially whole. You can, I have reached financial freedom, but a few years ago, I was a whole financial mess, meaning so here are the 10 components of financial wholeness, just so we're clear. Budgeting, savings, debt, credit, learning to earn. That's the first five. Say
one more time, Tiffany, a little slower.
Okay. Budgeting.
Okay.
Savings. You want to have at least 3 months or more. Debt, a debt-free plan. You don't have to be debt-free, but just a plan. Credit. So you ideally want to have a credit score of 740 or better. That's the beginning of perfect credit. Learning to earn. Everyone should know how to make money from not more than just one stream of income.
Okay.
Right. So that's the first 5.
Yep.
And the next 5 are investing for both wealth and retirement. Those are two types of investing,
Okay.
right? Then also insurance. Are you fully insured? Not just life insurance. Do you have renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, health insurance, right? Then net worth. Do you own more than you owe, right? Then your financial professionals. So you should never go money alone. You should have at least somebody that you can lean into for financial advice, because unless you went to school for that. And then last but not least, your estate plan. Beneficiaries, do you have a will? Do you have a trust if it makes sense for you? So those 10 components, do you see how you can have, I got a pile of money, I don't have to work, but you don't have a budget. You don't have a savings plan, because you could have been born into a pile of money and then you trick it all up because you don't have a budget, right? You don't know how to earn. You don't know how to invest. And so financial.
Can I pause real quick, Tiffany? This is why I like when Black people know stuff. You obviously have the education and everything, but only a Black person would say, then you trick it all up. And I'm like, that's Black. That's the Blackness. And that means. Yes. And that make it easier. It's more palatable for me because you could say squander. Yes. But I prefer trick it all up because I understand what trick it all up means. Now you went tricked it all up because you ain't financially whole.
Yes. But you see, it's like the difference between you can be muscular, but then you can have diabetes. Meaning that, like, you know, so you've got the external, like, oh, okay, but it doesn't mean that you're holistically healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I prefer, and I want people to work toward financial wholeness because it's something that is accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone ain't gonna be financially free, but literally, I was financially whole when I was a preschool teacher making $39,000 a year when I first started. You can be financially whole as a nurse making $75,000, as a mechanic making $50,000, as a millionaire. You know, it's,
you know what, Tiffany? I love this because I'm an amazing athlete and I follow a lot of sports players, most of whom make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are not nowhere near financially whole. And the moment they're out of whatever league they're in, it's gone.
Yep.
And they usually don't have, like, heaven forbid, everything in the Budgetnista fell apart. You still have other skills, or you could be like, okay, well, shoot, dang, I can teach, I can go back to this, but they don't have a transferable skill to go and at least earn income based on that. And I like the financial wholeness aspect of life because you don't have to be rich to be whole.
Exactly.
And a lot of people were like Greg's parents, Melissa's sister, they've been financially whole for a long time. They don't pay their house off. Their retirement, they don't have crazy expenses. They, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say they're rich, but they have a high quality of life because they're financially whole.
And that's
as a person who earns a lot of income, but also has a lot of expenses, debt, doesn't have a plan, they can be living stressed because they have a lot of financial freedom, maybe, but not wholeness, and therefore stress. And a lot of this is
like, you saw your little Yachty, he did like an interview where he said, people want to know why I work so hard. Yo, my expenses is $53,000 a month, yo. $53,000 a month. You see what I mean? So he's like, even if I have 20 million put up, that's going to be gone in like a few years, you know, and you think to yourself, that's the difference. That if he was financially whole, he wouldn't have to make that much to have the quality of life. I thought to myself, like, I wrote this book during the Panorama. Right. And so, and I really thought to myself, you know, what would people have needed in order to be able to, like, safely navigate quarantine and pandemic? So that really flavored, like, okay, because I want the teacher to be able to say, despite the fact that I'm on furlough, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
You know, because you hear about, oh, you need to trade options. Did you get GameStop? Those things are cool, but it's like the difference between going to the gym and practicing your layup and dribbling and passing, or going to the gym and only practicing your 3-point shot. Like, you know, I want you to have the fundamentals, so that way then you can go on to the fancier part of your financial life. And too many people focus on the fancy stuff and don't have the fundamentals. And as soon as they get a little friction in their finances, everything comes crumbling down.
You know what's oh, go ahead, babe.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I want to toot Melissa's horn a little bit. Because we both were stark poverty recipients, that's what our parents gave us, but love and stability. She was always like, I want it to be set up in case something happens and we can't have nothing coming in, we're good. So when the pandemic happened and our number one income generator, which was live events, went from going well, because we had just had like one of the best weekends ever, to zero. We were like, ooh, that sucks. But we were not like, now what? You know, like, so I didn't have to do a lot of work that I didn't want to do. I could still maintain the same lifestyle, but that's because the best piece of advice my dad ever gave me is live well beneath your means. If you get a raise, don't increase none of your bills, because you basically eliminate your raise. So Melissa and I did that for many a year, and then the pandemic didn't kill us, and we were actually able to capitalize on the pandemic and invest in certain things and keep your distance, which we would not have had if we didn't have some financial freedom. But I also want to say, prior to any of this income, when we worked at Boeing and stuff, we had a lot of these finance. The only thing I feel like we don't have all the way up in is the estate planning. And low key, I ain't gonna hold you, Tiffany. The main reason, it was so morbid. When I went and I was like, it really was just so hard. We had a person and we know, and I went and I said, if I die, I was like, but I want to live. And I literally I don't want to.
Because you don't want, because I get, it's because it's hard, but especially because you have children, right?
Yeah, well, no, we have the insurance and all that. Like, they're taken care of, but the will and testament, that was
you got to get the will. And not just that, but y'all should also have a trust.
I know. Tiffany,
I know it's hard, but literally the only, because here's why, because so many of us, when we finally do get a little bit of money, this is why so many Black generations have to start right back over again, because they'll be great grandma was a millionaire, but she didn't pass it along in a way that was sustainable throughout the generations, you know? And I get it, because that is the one part. Like I always say I'm 90% financially whole, right? So I have all the ones, but it's that same one. I'd be like, my husband and I talk about, we're like, we got to get this will together. And it's hard. Yeah. Because you don't want to think about not being here. But I finally was like, I have my attorney, Tony, and I told her, I'm like, okay, I'm ready, because why a trust is so important is that if you have assets under $100,000, you don't need a trust, because it's not inexpensive to do a trust. But if you have assets over $100,000 to put into a trust, then you want to consider it. If your assets are over $500,000, you absolutely should have a trust, because a trust, what makes a trust so special is this: a trust is like a person that never passes away. When one person passes away and your assets go from you to whoever, your son, your daughter, there are so many taxes. The government's like, oh snap, you died.
Somebody dead. Right. Let me before you die, while y'all down at the repast, let me go ahead and dip in. Who did the body? Let me get a little bit of the capital gain.
No, for real.
Just like himself. Let me touch that.
I'm telling you, like literally, you can lose up to 50% or more. So just imagine that you have built up all this wealth. Wow. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
How much?
Some people up to over 50%. Wow, depending on like what kind of assets they have.
Estate taxes and all that?
Yeah, but literally there's death taxes depending on what state you're in, depending on like what type of assets that you have.
They literally remember it was
called the death tax. And they called it the estate tax to make it more palatable.
Yes.
Because people
it was branding.
When I was at the bank, people, it is hard. If you don't have that stuff in order, like, and I know this is morbid and I should know better because I sat across from people. It is not only hard legally. If you don't have that stuff in order, that money just be in there. You got power of attorney. You got to get death certificates, all this stuff. But the expenses are due now.
Right. Yes.
And people are like, bro, the money's right there. And it's hard to tell someone who has the last name of the person who's deceased, they cannot have this money. And they're like, bro, but I got to bury them. I got to pay for this. I got to do something with their house. It needs repair. They got to pay taxes. And people lose it because people, especially if you die like unexpectedly, they're just not prepared because they're like me. But I just emailed my lawyer and was like, okay, Nick, we got to do it for real. Because me and Melissa, we've been knowing, but it's just, you got to look that death in the eye and make sure your family's good.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pass that burden on to your family.
Exactly. Because they're already grieving. Exactly. And I just tell, because literally with the trust, there's no, if everything's inside the trust doesn't pass. So there's not that death tax because the trust is like, I'm still here, even if whoever started this trust is not still here. So that's how you avoid, probate court. That's how you avoid,
that's what
certain taxes, so because you get to keep that money. And so unfortunately, we, like I said, in our community, especially Black and Brown communities, even if wealth is gained, we're not passing it along in a way, that's sustainable. So that's why that part is.
I'm gonna call mine. Me and Melissa's gonna be called the Trick It Off Trust.
The Trick It Off Trust. I have a question for you, because I know a lot of people that are probably listening may not be at a place where they're able to establish a trust, or maybe where it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So you have the first 5 steps that you named in the financial wholeness plan.
Those are preemie steps, and so that's like to your point. Everybody needs those, but I will say this. What I do love about financial wholeness is that, so just so we're clear, the book is called Get Good with Money, 10 Simple Steps to Becoming Financially Whole. So if you're wondering, like, why are you talking about financial wholeness? It's because it's the title. But even if, like, 21-year-old Tiffany had an estate plan, all it looks like is my mama is my beneficiary on my bank account.
Yeah.
So people don't realize that, like, you might think, like, I don't have an estate. No. If you have a bank account, do you have a retirement account?
Yeah.
Do you have a life insurance policy? Who is the beneficiary? That is your estate plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why those 10 things are so important, because it's really just where you are currently in life. Financial wholeness grows with you. Makes sense. But the first 5, the budgeting, savings, debt, credit, learning to earn, those are the foundational components of financial wholeness.
So I have a question for you, especially because the second and third were saving and debt. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Kevin and I I was on my plan to paying off debt, the struggle of, do I save or do I pay off debt? Is a constant battle. And so for the listeners that we have that are like, yes, that is me as well, what is your recommendation to that?
That's really
good. Here's what I'll say. I want you to look and to see if you don't have a fully funded emergency account. That just means, do you have at least 3 months, or based upon your industry, how quickly could you replace your income if you were out of work? Okay. So I'll give you an example. My mother, when she's a nurse, well, she's retired now. So 3 months was plenty, because, damn pandemic, nurses were always in high demand, So I remember when the hospital closed when we were in college, and I remember, like, the phone was ringing off the hook, because nurses are always in demand. Now, my sister is an engineer. It took her almost a year to find her first job as a Black sister, Mm-hmm. So as an engineer, she might need 6 months, maybe 8 or 12 months to replace her income should she lose her job. So is your emergency fund fully funded based upon at least 3 months, or based upon your industry?
Yeah.
Now, if it is fully funded, then you can go ahead on and put most of your money toward paying off what I call your expensive debt. This is like typically your credit card debt, because it's likely double-digit interest rate. Yeah. Right. So, but I wouldn't go so heavy toward, like, say, like your student loan or mortgage, because certainly you want to pay off your mortgage, but you could just pay what's owed to them. Get rid of that expensive debt. Now, if you are not fully funded in your emergency account, then you could do half to funding your emergency account, half to paying off your expensive debt. Because here's why. Because I've seen people say, Tiffany, I've got $10,000 in my emergency account, and I've got a credit card bill that's $10,000. Right. I think I'm going to go on and just take out my savings and put it on my credit card. And I said, and you know what's going to happen when you pay off that credit card? Your card going to break down, and you're going to look at your emergency savings. It's like, nah, don't come over here. You done dragged me. Oh, no. Go ahead on and see credit card. And you're going to be looking at credit card. Credit card's going to be like, come on back, boo. Just come on back and run me up.
Tiffany, you are as good as advertised. The fact that your credit card and your card, emergency account, is what I was for. You gave your emergency account so much character. Yeah. You don't know. You want to drain me? Yeah. The main reason I'm here, you want to go there to give that old Fannie Mae and credit jam.
So I tell people, like, you have to remember that your emergency fund is your first line of defense. Yeah. So you don't want to be left without it if possible. I hear people say all the time, oh man, like I had an emergency and I had to take money from my emergency account. I'm like, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so that's Jesus, to make sure you don't have like
you don't go back in debt.
You don't go back. Yes. You don't have because you're going to have, man, listen, I am grateful to God. Mm-hmm. There is times I remember early in our marriage, it was like, fam, nothing can go wrong. The battery dies in your car.
No, bump a battery. You couldn't halfway get an expensive light bill.
Listen,
for things going wrong.
Gas go up 10 cents. Oh my God. Now a full tank 30-20. We needed it to be 2406. You got this, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a stressful existence to know your gas bill can't be up. Your heat, you got to live cold. And we had cars Melissa's first car was 2 years younger than her, right?
It was the same age.
That car was, I ain't gonna work every day.
I bought my car. It already was 8 years old. Like the car was already like a teenager. Like, hey sis, so you adopted me. I'm kind of aging out the system, but let's see how this works.
My first car was 1983. I was born in 1983.
Y'all was twins.
We was together.
Hey, this is Melissa and this Honda Accord.
Yes,
y'all
was together.
But I'll say this because this is one of the things that I think makes Get With Money special, because most books assume you're at least at zero, right? Yeah. Most people talk to you like, but no. Literally, I have a section in the book called "What Happens If I'm Broke."
Right.
Because I have been where it's like there's literally not enough. I need 200. There's 100.
Yes.
What happened to do? Like what? And so it took me forever to realize this. Instead of killing myself and trying to drain all the money from my retirement account and putting my future in jeopardy, I realized that there are moments when you have to get down to what I call your health and safety budget. This is when you list everybody you owe or everything you have to pay for and say, do I have to pay this to maintain my health? Do I have to pay this to maintain my safety? Everybody else is going to wait. They just have to wait. And it was hard, like Verizon. So I know I be using you, but I ain't got it. I mean, it was hard to say, but am I not going to eat?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I got to survive first.
Yes, I'm like, I need my asthma pump. So what we got? And so, but here's what happens when you do that, because that way it's okay not to pay everybody if you don't have it, not willfully, but honestly, I'm working really hard. I just don't have it. Let those folks know it's temporary. Some people are going to offer you a hardship program or some sort of freeze. Some people are going to say, I don't care, give me my money, and want to harass and call you every day. But I'll say this, just because I owe you, it doesn't give you the right to mistreat me. So go head on down to the Staples, and for 75 cents, you can fax them a cease and desist letter. So I'll ask me how I know, because I've done it. Okay.
Guess what? I owe you $1. I ain't got it, but I got 75 cents. Leave me alone. I got
that. No, for real. So the cease and desist letter just means that you would fax them this letter, and the faxing is always best because you get that return receipt, and they know that because there's laws in place that says if I ask you not to call me, but you can email me and send me a letter, by law, you cannot call me. But if saying it on the phone, there's no way to prove it. But if you fax it, even you mail it, there's no way to prove it, but faxing it is the best way. So I sent my mortgage company, for example, I could not afford to pay it. They were harassing me every single day. They were calling my sister's job, my parents' home, it got to be really ugly. So finally I faxed them, and within a day it stopped. They can email me and they can send me physical letters, but so that way you can reduce the anxiety as you try to work and figure out what you're going to do.
Okay. This is so good, Tiffany. We're going to take a break to digest it and hear from our sponsors.
And we have the Budgetnista on today. We are talking about financial health and financial wellness. And for most of us, these are conversations that we didn't get as a kid. And what GoHenry is trying to do is help all of us as adults teach kids how to manage money. And they do it in an exciting and challenging way. But most importantly, it is setting them up for the future. Teaching your kids how to be responsible with money doesn't have to be tough. And GoHenry makes it easy to teach your kids a lifetime of financial skills that they'll be able to take into adulthood. GoHenry debit card for kids and app for parents is an easy, fun way to teach kids good money habits designed to help young kids ages 6 to 18 learn about money firsthand and build financial independence. With GoHenry, you can use your card to make purchases online, in stores, and at ATM machines. You can set savings goals and make donations, real-time transfers, automated allowed deposits, set spending limits and controls where the card can be used, receive real-time notifications, on how much your kids can spend. This was founded by parents. Therefore, we know what we want our kids to have access to and what we don't. And they already have those guardrails in place. They're on a mission to make every kid good with money. Get good with money. The title of the episode, what we've been talking about today, and why not be able to pass that forward to your kids by going to GoHenry.com and get 1 month for free with promo code LOVEHOUR. That's 1 month free at GoHenry.com and use promo code LOVEHOUR. One more time, GoHenry.com. Get 1 month free with promo code LOVEHOUR.
Tiffany, this is so good. We're back from our sponsors. We want to continue in this thing. First of all, I just want to thank you. I know I'm not closing out, but I wish I had known you when we was doing this, because you are often tempted to just stick your head in the sand. I remember when I worked at Burger King, no matter what, every payday, we worked on a military base or lived on a military base, and I worked on a military base. First and the 15th, it's everybody paid. I'm going to Burger King for lunch, for dinner. I'm not cooking.
And I worked at a bank, so everybody was going there too.
They would go from Melissa's job over to my job. Let me cash that check and give me that Whopper Junior with cheese. I remember I had one manager, and this is gonna make sense. This analogy about financial, how you handle it. Mm-hmm. We had tickets. Every time we placed an order, a ticket come out, and we would take those tickets, put it on a bag, and then fill that order. I had one manager who would, no matter how busy she got, she always ticket, boom, 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 boom. She can't necessarily put no food in there right away, but she knows what's coming. And I had another manager who was lazy, and when it got rushed, he would just let them like flow over into on the floor. And we would be like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, it's going to take us a while to catch up anyway. And I think that's what we do with our finances. Some people are like, okay, I ain't got it right now, and this is a tough time, but let me set myself up so that as this stuff happens, I can handle it. And some of us are just like, let's just let that thing go into the floor. And if I don't pull the tickets, nothing will happen. And I think our temptation is to just be like, stick my head in the sand. This sucks. I don't know what to do, and I don't know where to start. And I appreciate you from even where you talk in your podcast and your book. It gives you a starting point. So okay, at least you know sticking your head in the sand is not going to work.
Right. Yeah.
I know that's your inclination because you don't know what to do, but let's take the ticket off and start here. This actually it's just a small fry. And there's small fries right there. Now you got at least one thing out of the way. You know what I'm saying? I think that's, especially Black people, another burden we have, lack of resources. We're not usually starting off with a nest egg. We don't usually have somebody in our family to help us pay off, and we don't have the information. So it's just like, well, dang, I ain't got really nowhere to go, nowhere to start, and I don't know what to do. So I appreciate your book and your teachings for helping us. Because I remember when I was in high school, my parents did not teach me about finances or credit. Thank God, Mr. Roger Tagg, he was my economics teacher. He taught me about credit in his class in economics. He made a point to teach us about like life economics, not just economics in theory. But my brother and sister didn't take that class. So they were just like, you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think I feel like, you just know that you're called to something, I knew when I was a little girl that I was supposed to be a teacher, but I was like, anybody trying to be broke? Not when I was 5, but I thought about that like as a teenager, like teachers don't make much. That's what they tell you in these streets. Yeah. But I knew that I was supposed to be a teacher. I used to teach preschool. I used to teach Sunday school when I was a teenager. And now I'm the Budgetnista. And I realized that the running theme for me is I'm a teacher of the fundamentals. Sunday school, fundamentals of religion, right? Preschool, fundamentals of the rest of your educational life. And then here I am as the Budgetnista, like, you're not going to learn how to trade options from me. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, flip houses. You should, but I'm here to give you the fundamentals so you can. Yeah. So you can. And so to your point, it was such a blessing because it seems so random to go from preschool to what I'm doing now, but it's not. Like I am 3 and 4, and like I'm teaching you as if you were 3 and 4, but in money.
Right. You know what? That's also good. I respect people who say this is what I do well and this is what I don't do at all.
Exactly.
So go to a Bitcoiner if you want to learn how to do Bitcoin. Go to flip this house. You want to flip houses. If you want the fundamentals, come. And by nature, then you should graduate from Budgetnista school.
Yes. Right. Exactly. No, because that's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting that by the time, you're like, oh, I want to jump into the market. You are so financially whole that even if, you put your 10,000 into GameStop, it's because you have 60,000 put up and you can afford to lose 10. Not that you are, some people literally mortgage their house to spend out money.
They sure did.
Only to lose it. So
they sure did.
that's not financial wholeness. I want, like right now, like my husband and I, you would never know, like how much that we have put up, that we are legit millionaires more than one time over, a few times over. But we
talk your talk, Tiffany, without retribution. I'm a millionaire more than one time over. You better ask about big Budgetnista energy.
Well, no, I'm saying that because like if you were to see me, this is Target, and I'm wearing pajamas at the bottom that are also from Target. And like if you were to see, like my car is 3 years, I think it's maybe more than that. I think it's a 2016, but I love my Lincoln MKZ. It's cute, but I'm debt free like a 4-year-old. Okay, yes. The house I live in, there's no mortgage. We renovated this house from top to bottom. We have another property that we'll be renting out soon. Bought it, renovated it, no mortgage. The cars, no car note. We are debt free like 4-year-old. So like our net worth, all the money that we bring in, we get to keep. And so that's what I'm wanting for folks to set you. Because sometimes people are like, oh, Budgetnista, like it sounds like Brokenista. I'm like, I'm sorry, ain't nobody broke over here.
Listen, this is from Target too. This is actually a Black-owned designer. This little bag is from Target. I bought this Gucci purse. I went to Target after I got Starbucks, and then this Gucci, it was from Target because in the bag I had.
I was like, Target's not somebody's Gucci.
I do have a question. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that. Go ahead.
You go. I go.
This is the everyone stopped at a stop sign and everyone's doing this. Go. Then we both go at the same time. And then it loops back. I guess my question was, I think this is all really great stuff. For those people that are like, okay, Tiffany, I got it. I'm going to work on my savings plan. After that, I'm going to move into debt. We use what I call the snowball debt plan. Yes. Do you ever, like, I know there's also the avalanche.
Yep.
Or maybe there's an uphill one. Anyway, do you have a recommendation for people that are like, I want to start working on my way out of debt? Or do you have a class that you teach for that?
So it is, I like for people to start off with the snowball method. That's when you pay off the lowest balance of your debt first. So any debt that has a low balances first, you pay that off first. And then as you get to debt that has higher balances, then you move on over to the avalanche method. That's when you start focusing on debt with a higher interest rate first, because it's more expensive debt. So, you're paying up $100, $200, $500, $1,000. Then you get to maybe $5,000 or $10,000. Then you really want to focus on debt that's really costing you the most amount of money because it's really starting to add up. Right. And so, but also too, here's the thing. So a study was done about it was called like the Black Money Study. And they found that the number one goal for Black people when it came to their money was to be debt free. And then they did a study for everyone else. The number one goal for everyone else was to grow wealth. The problem is that somehow along the way, Black people have come to the belief that somehow debt freedom equals wealth. It does not. I'll give you an example. I've got a nephew. He doesn't have a mortgage. He doesn't have a car note. He doesn't have student loan debt. He is debt free, but he's broke because Roman is 5 years old.
Right.
Right? People are debt free. So is Roman. Your toddler is debt free too. How's that looking for them? You know what I mean? That like, I set you up for a girl, right? You're like, oh, look at Roman. No, Roman is broke because he's 5. Because if debt freedom equals wealth, then all of our toddlers would be walking around rolling in the dough. So what I want for us is to work on debt freedom as a goal, but not the goal.
That's good.
Right? So like you put debt freedom, you put like a plan in place, you kind of set it and semi-forget it, and then you focus your energy on growing wealth. I learned this I had the $35,000 of credit card debt because somebody who I thought was my friend got me mixed up in some credit card scheme, and it left me $35,000 in debt. And it took me about 2.5 years of hard work to pay that down. And I was like, not eating out, no hair done, no nails done, no everything did. So it was hard living.
Oh, everything.
And then I thought to myself, I paid off this credit card debt. It's been almost 3 years. The next debt on my list was my student loan debt, and it was $52,000, almost double. And I thought, okay, am I going to have to live 6 years like I've been living? Oh, hell no.
Right.
I said, I'm not doing it. And then that's when I realized, Tiffany, putting all of your energy toward getting debt free is not the smartest way to use your energy and your intelligence. How about we put the student loan debt, just give it its minimum, and put your energy and the rest of your money into investing in yourself and your business. And then in about 3 or 4 years later, I was able to write a full-fledged $52,000 check. Because when you go for wealth and financial wholeness, you can get debt freedom along the way. If you just go for debt freedom, you stop right there.
Because once you pay the debt off, now what?
Now what?
Yeah, you're just at zero. So my question then is, like, I got it. I feel like people are like, they're going to be motivated. They hear you talk, they're going to be motivated. How do you reconcile or what's the first step to doing both? Sometimes it feels like, but Tiffany, I only got $1. So like, how am I splitting my dollar up so I can, either concentrate on my future or concentrate on paying off this debt? Like, what does that look like?
Sometimes it looks like, if it's double-digit debt, it looks like the minimum plus a little extra. Meaning, when I say double-digit debt, I mean double digits as far as the interest rate, because you really want to get rid of some of that money first. So it looks like this. So let's just pretend we have credit cards. Like, this is a credit card, $100 balance, $500 balance, $1,000 balance. So it looks like you're going to start with the snowball method. So normally, let's just say you used to give everybody their minimum plus a little, minimum plus a little, minimum plus a little, minimum plus little. So now you're going to say everyone else is just going to get their minimum. That little extra that you were sprinkling to this other debt, you're going to give it to this one card that you're going to work on. You're going to give the lowest balance card its minimum plus the extra that you found from your budget. Now, some of that extra, you might say half of it I'm going to save because I don't have my full emergency fund funded. And the other half I'm going to give toward this debt. Now, this is still going to be paid. These other debts, they're just getting the minimum. So it's just a slow go. So this debt is getting more than it usually gets. Then it's paid off. This debt gets to sit down. But that's minimum plus a little now rolls over to the second lowest debt. The second lowest debt is almost getting like two minimums. The first debt's minimum, its minimum plus that little. And so it's bumping even faster than before. Then when this is paid off, then you move on to the third lowest debt. Now it's getting 3 minimum, this third lowest debt. You see what I mean? And if you do that, and if you do that, you will slowly but surely. Now, because here's the thing, you do that and you kind of semi-automate it. So that way you can focus on what are ways that I can earn additional income. Is this that I need to like the Learn to Earn chapter in the book? I teach you how to, if you work for someone, how to extract more money from your job or how to find a job that's going to pay you more. Is it going to be to monetize a skill set? Like when I used to teach preschool, 2 things I would do on the side when I needed extra money is I would tutor and I would babysit. Because I tapped into, you know what, Tiffany? Because what I loved with that is I didn't have to learn a new skill set and I could get paid more because I was already doing that at work. Because who didn't want like a preschool teacher to babysit their kids, Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so learning how to earn while this is kind of working in the background. I'm not focused on debt. Because where what you put your focus on is really where your energy goes. And I don't want us to focus on debt. I want us to set up a system and then really focus on how can I earn additional income? There's so much money out here in this world. Don't let these people tell you that it's only a little bit. There's so much money. There's somebody right now sewing a cat sweater and making, $10,000 a month because, these cats want sweaters.
Yes.
Like literally.
These cats want sweaters.
Remember there was a story about a young guy that he was a line sitter. He made like $70,000 a year. Where he used to literally, like, if you wanted a ticket to a concert, but you couldn't sit in line, he would do that for you and you would pay him by the hour. And he was making tens of thousands of dollars a year. There's so much money out here. I promise you there is. Now I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but there's so much money. But you can't focus on earning more if you're only just focused on getting debt free.
I think that's really good. I just want to share really quickly. And then I have a question for you. Well, I'll share my thing after I ask this question. Do you have or offer a financial debt like app or calculator? I ask because, and if you don't, it might be something to really consider. When we were doing our financial get out of debt plan, I'd use the snowball method. I think it is phenomenal, not only because we actually did get out of debt, but it is a ego boost because you start with the smaller first and there is no motivation like paying off that first one that'll get you. Now I can move to the second one. Oh, it's on and popping. Like it is on and popping.
And me and Melissa used to, I think our first one was like less than $1,000.
Sure.
We was like, Okay, let's go.
It's an adrenaline rush that you set a goal and you accomplish it, because part of the reason when you were talking about when you had the 3 bills up, is you're paying a little, and the interest that you're going to receive the very next month, eating that up, it ain't going to do nothing. And so you feel like there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
And with the financial that snowball was literally a snowball app calculator. What it did was I put in all of my bills, I put in the interest rate, and it spit out what the minimum was. And it was pretty accurate to what I was actually paying. And then it said, you commit to what your snowball amount is. So maybe that's $25 additional a month. And it amortized when I would be paid off with everything.
Yeah.
So it feels so good to see, like,
you have no idea. And so, but what you do again is it's that motivation. So I just committed to 25, but really I could do 50. What that's going to do to this timeline?
Yep.
Well, maybe I actually could do 75. What's that going to do to this timeline? And then they actually called it a, I can't remember, but it was a specific word when you would maybe you got your taxes and you're like, I'm going to commit to putting an extra 1,000, and it wouldn't amortize it. It would just be like a lump sum of one time. Yeah. Like a boost, basically. Yeah. You stick that $1,000 in and it automatically recalculates. And I'm getting excited thinking about how excited I was at that time to see that played out.
Yeah.
And you literally get to see in 3 years, I would have all of this paid off.
And I want to make a real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. I want people to know this was not Kev on Stage.
Oh no, we were working at the bank.
This is regular job, Melissa and Kevin. This is not comedy. This is paycheck, little bit. It was no excess. I'm making no money.
No.
So it wasn't like, oh, Kev got $1,000 from stand up. It was like, I think it was definitely our taxes, tax refund, maybe a bonus from work, but it wasn't like this debt-free stuff was before so when money started coming in from other stuff, that now I remember my dad said, ain't no feeling like getting a bonus and then not having a name on it. Because a lot of times, as soon as you got something, it got, hey, you was down on me. Go on and give that player.
Yeah, but I know that because you're right. Because even when I paid off that $35,000 of debt, that was Tiffany on unemployment, Tiffany. That wasn't using the snowball method, unemployment, Tiffany. So I'll say this, that like, I don't have my personal calculator, but what I did do was like, so in the book, there are different tools and resources that I recommend. So I created a toolkit, a Get Good with Money toolkit. So if you go to getgoodwithmoney.com, even if you haven't bought the book, it's like a little tab, you click on it and all the tools that I recommend to help you through your financial wholeness journey, they're all there. The calculators are there. I have spreadsheets if you're going to create a budget, spreadsheets for your debt. I've got like spreadsheets for your net worth. Everything is there. The banks that I recommend.
This is that tool. Good on you, Tiffany, for being like, I'm going to sell a book, but I'm also going to give some information away for free because you live for the people and you love your people. Yeah, and you
because I even know what it's like to be broke, because I remember when literally I had $20 and I was like, all right, this is for the week. So how are we going to do this? So I know that feeling of being like, all right, you know what? The library's having an event. I'm eating tonight. And I might go late. I might go late to the event because when they packing up the food, you're like, so what y'all doing with the food that's left over? For real.
Listen, here's the thing that worked for Melissa and I too. We did this all year, but between I believe Thanksgiving and Christmas, we had I don't remember what you called it.
It was a reprieve.
It was a reprieve. We basically were like, look, all the money we would be putting towards our debt between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we taken this, I believe it was about 5 or 6 weeks off. So one year we went to Las Vegas with the boys, and I'm talking about Circus had rooms. I'll never forget it. $22. We took them boys down to Circus in the Circus. We got 2 rooms. Y'all gonna be right across. Open the door. It was $44 a night. I'm talking about. We didn't pay for one event. Circus got free circus. What time in them circuses coming? 7 o'clock every night. We gonna be down to the free circus. Our kids didn't know no different. Yeah. They was like, the circus is indoor.
And it did add to our timeline. It did.
It did. You added 5 weeks to everything.
It added to our timeline. But the being able to like celebrate in that way and do it in a way that wasn't anxiety producing because you're not swiping a credit card was very rewarding.
That was our little stimmy.
It was a little stimmy. So it was a way for us to celebrate the progress that we've done. Listen, we're no Tiffany Budgetnista, so I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying
that's actually a good idea. I think people think like that. I think people think because I'm the Budgetnista that I think that you shouldn't enjoy your money even as you're paying down debt. You should, because like literally money is to be used, yes, to be responsible, but also to enjoy. So I've got these 4 questions that I say you should ask yourself before you spend any money. Do I need it? Do I love it? Do I like it? Do I want it? So your needs come first.
I say yes
food,
to
shelter, clothing, water, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta.
This is easy for me, Tiffany. Every answer is yes.
No, this is how you gonna know, right? You know your needs. If you don't have these needs, then you won't be healthy or safe, right? Now your loves are what people overlook because sometimes it takes a while to save for them. But your loves are this. It brings lasting joy. Is this thing gonna still bring me joy a year from now? Right? So it's like, oh, this burger. Am I gonna be like, ooh, this burger a year from now? You might. If you're a foodie, look at Kev's like, you know.
I done had a burger in my day. I thought about it like a long lost love.
So, but then you know, a year from now, if you're pretty sure this is gonna bring you joy still, then that might be a love for you. And then a like, it's about 6 months from now. You know, will you still feel joy for this thing about 6 months from? So temporary joy. And then a want, there's no real joy. It's just instant gratification. Like, do I really need another chapstick? It's not bringing me joy. I'm just like, I have so many in the house, but I see one, I'm like, oh, I like the egg shape. You don't need it, you know? So I asked myself,
how people think.
I know. So I ask myself all the time, right? So I try to live in this half, the needs and the love half. So it means I actually get to live more of a life because most of my money is going to the needs, but then the things that bring me lasting joy. Because I look back, you know, sometimes you look in your closet and I'm sure, Melissa, you've seen this. You're like, did I even wear this?
Girl.
Did I even like?
Melissa be going through struggle.
I'd be like, why did I buy this? This is so dumb.
Struggles.
You
and
know?
she be beating herself up over this.
You know, because you think to yourself, like, if you added up all of your likes and wants and things, especially your wants, things that really don't move you, you might have been able to afford that trip that you really want to go on. Like, I used to be like, I lived in Target, because who doesn't love Target? Just looking around like, I'm just looking to buy something. I'm not even here for no reason. Just here, feeling it out.
That's part of Target's whole business model. Get people in the door, they gonna spend $100.
Yeah.
Just get them to come in. They go, we got something you want. You know, just come in here. You don't know what you want till we'll tell you.
Yeah.
So I remember my best friend was like, I used to call her Fancy Girl because, well, she used to we would go to Target and she would buy all these tchotchkes. So me being all up in her business started to keep track on my phone, like, because I knew she was going to complain the next time I went on vacation. I can never afford vacation. I said, well, the last 3 months you spent, she was like, this is why I don't go nowhere with you. This is why you got 3 friends. I said, you mad or you want to go on vacation? She's like, I want to go on vacation. I said, well, it's your Target money that needs to go into Morocco, right?
Target's a part of your budget.
No, but you know, so because it wasn't like she was buying anything that was like really moving. Because I asked her, do you remember what you bought at Target in the last 3 months? No, but Morocco, I still remember when I went to Istanbul, Morocco, Greece, you know, years later. So I don't want you to have less of a life. I want your spending to be more meaningful to you.
You know what, Tiffany? I be joking a lot, but you are absolutely right. Sometimes I just be buying stuff because stuff, this is terrible. I'm sorry, Budgetnista, Dream Builder fam, Dream Catcher fam. Sometimes I go on Amazon, I'd be like, what's the deal of the day? Ooh, a charger that will charge your cell phone and warm your socks up. Nice. And then when the stuff comes in the mail, I'll be like, what was I even thinking? Listen, I'm gonna tell you, Melissa, I'm gonna throw you on the bus just a little bit. Sometimes this doggone stuff come in the mail, and Melissa, we was joking. I said, girl, you got a lot of packages. You said sometimes it feel like Christmas. I just like stuff coming with my name on it. It's like a gift. Like, you bought it. I don't care. It feels like a gift because I done forgot I bought it. And when it come, I'll be like, oh, I did order that.
I'm telling you, the Pantene commercial that got me ordering stuff too. So I'm not even mad because I literally am like, every day I feel like, because, you know, also too, I'm sure you guys get like these packages that people send you. Like, you want a t-shirt? I did not request this t-shirt, but I wear it.
Yes.
Can you tag me in it?
Yes.
Pay.
Tell Tiffany, this ain't no even trade. I'm sorry, y'all gonna say it, and I don't never say it. It is not no even trade For you to send me your shirt for free and I wear it and tag you, I done made you heavens know how much. Yes. And all I got is a shirt and straps.
Yeah. And I don't like, and here's the thing, I don't mind if I feel like tagging, sure. Especially if I ask or you say, can I? I'm like, if you send me something random, I'm gonna wear it now. But I might not. People are like, I saw you wore it. I'm like, Lord, you know what? but honestly, and that's okay because I like, for example, if you have it, like I remember Oprah said that she had to learn the lesson because even as you start to make money, especially us folk, sometimes it's hard for us to make the transition. Like you ain't broke no more. You ain't broke no more. It's hard. Oprah said that she had went into a store and there was a shirt and it was $400 and she couldn't decide on which color she wanted. And she was like really torn. And she said, her friend was like, sir, ma'am, get both. $400 to Oprah is like 2 cents to us.
Yeah.
But even Oprah was having a hard time, like, $400.
That poverty be a hold on you.
Mm-hmm. It is. I have a hard time like letting go, like Tiffany, it's okay, you're not broke no more. Because you're like, ooh, how much is parking? I don't know. $10. Let me
tell you what, Melissa, this is the best thing about Melissa. It ain't even the money sometimes. It's the line. She done buy 8 things. The line, 4 people, you know what? I ain't really need none of this stuff anyway. If that line got 0 people, the stuff is sold. 4 people, she like, oh, that might be 7 minutes, 10, 12.
I don't like a line. That's why I don't like my
Marshalls. The line is, the less the chance of her buying. That's why Amazon be getting you.
Yes, it
Ain't no doggone line down to design.
No, these days, I'm like, ooh, these Facebook ads, these damn Facebook ads.
Oh,
I'm like, ooh, the kids would love the magnetic blocks. Did they ask for magnetic blocks? They don't even know they need that. They need it. I'm like, I'm just gonna. Yesterday, I done bought a blanket yesterday. One of my friends is the influencer, and it's she hikes. Meanwhile, I don't hike. It's some blanket that's made out of I don't know, like material that you like sleeping bag material. Or I could have just bought a $20 sleeping bag and just opened it up. I done bought that $100 blanket. Like, girl, I done bought that blanket, and I thought about it like. You got a sleeping bag in the garage, right? You can just open it up and just lay that down at the park. I was like, damn. So I could get tricked by the ads too. So don't feel bad.
I bought something off an ad. There was a place that make thick boy swimsuits. And we was going to Hawaii and I'm thick boy. I bought one. Them Instagram ad people had a meeting on my timeline. I'm talking about they got all kind of stuff. I said, "Ooh, what's this?" And you buy one thing, it'd be like, "Baby, hooty hoo, we got one." Everybody, Kev is buying stuff. Here goes a shirt, an undershirt that's fake Spanx, so people won't know that he's wearing Spanx. And I said, "Listen, don't mind me, y'all." I said, "What? This is a who? What's the extra large feel like? Can I breathe good?"
Yes. No, it's hard, and honestly. That is what's hard about it is because we're tempted all day long. That's why creating a plan for your money and including in the plan, if you have it, including the plan to have fun with your money as well.
Yeah.
Like if you don't include that, like, hey, I just came into $1,000. I'm going to put this much toward bills, this much for this, but then this much should just enjoy because you're human and you deserve to enjoy as well.
I love that.
Tiffany, you are great. I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I really enjoy this conversation. I love your style. And this ain't the first time I've heard you speak, but it's the first time we had an extended interview. I think you have the most important thing that I think you have is realistic steps that anybody can take. And there's no shame. I don't feel no shame towards you. You ain't beating me up over the head for how I got here. None of that stuff. I don't feel like, a lot of financial stuff, you just be like, they just make you feel dumb and stupid. Why you don't do this? You still debt free? You 27? I'd be like, you know what? I don't need this. Forget you and your little financial book. Shut up. But yours is more of a soothing, light. Yeah, and I want to reiterate to people that Melissa and I have not been always where we are now. And we spent more of our life still in the place where we need the Tiffany's of the world. We only been having about a good 2-3 years. But up until that point, that doggone Corolla got drove. You hear me? That doggone Corolla was like timing belt off. That's going to give me another 6 months, $1,000. And I think I want our people to have a plan.
Yes.
And then be able to institute that plan for themselves and then teach that plan to their children. So we Black. We already starting behind the 8 ball. So if we don't have to start behind in this way, at least that's better. And the last thing I want to say, I want to toot your horn a little bit. You also got to live. You can't just be existing just to pay bills and everybody else happy, because Sally Mae gonna be happy because Sally Mae and them, they took our student loan money and they vacationed down in the Caribbean because they had like $1 trillion year. They took that. So how, if they having fun with my student loan money, I know I better be down to somebody's beach with this belly out. I know that much. So shoot, them doggone credit card companies, your rent, everybody who's taking your money is living a little. You should live a little too. That's all I want to say.
No,
now, where can they get your book so they can?
Apparently, a lot of people, even on our Patreon, are very familiar, or they're part of it's Dreamcatcher Academy.
Literature Academy.
Literature Academy.
Yeah, so I have a Facebook group, which is all free, but then I do have an online school, the Literature Academy. But yeah, the book is available at the book name getgoodwithmoney.com. Like I said, because my rule is, even if you can't afford to pay or buy something from, you still get help. That's why we have so many things for free, because I can't say that I'm a teacher and for the people and not provide an avenue for people to get to a space where, they can afford something. And even if not, I'm all the way good, truly.
Yeah.
And so no, I am, honestly. Like, I always think about that way. Like, this book even is really like a love letter to my people, because although they pay well, the way it's amortized over like a year and a half, I make more than that in a month, So like in business, not me take home. Well, sometimes we take home, but right. But meaning that, all the work and stuff I put in, it's not monetary. The money is not the same. So I did this because I said, I wanted a tool, a guide, a step-by-step. Like, literally, when you read the book, it is a teacher that is like, there's actually homework in the book. Step 1, do this. Here's a little homework to check for understanding. Step 2, do this. Oh, you need a spreadsheet? Done. Here you go. Oh, you need a calculator? Done. Here you go. I told you to open up a bank account, not sure which one? Done. Here you go. I give you everything. If you know how to read, write, add, subtract, I got you. But it's all available at getgoodwithmoney.com. You can get the toolkit. If you're not sure where you are as far as financial wholeness, if you scroll down on that page, there's a quiz, like a 1-minute quiz you can take, and it'll tell you what percentage of financial wholeness you've already achieved. And the book is there. It is a New York Times bestseller, which is—
Let them know, Tiffany.
Insane. Less than 0.5% of books ever make that list. About 100,000 so books a year come out, and less than 500 make a New York Times bestsellers list. And we made 2 lists.
That's amazing.
With a Black woman on the cover talking about money.
That's amazing.
So it's just like, when you step into like what you are created for, it's just amazing. Like what God has set aside for you, if you only lean into it. I promise you that even the things that are hard now, for those who are listening who are like, but I'm broke. I have been broke broke longer than I have been rich.
Listen, we've been together with 20 years?
20 years.
Broke 17.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it wasn't even hard. We had fun being broke. We went down to the mall and looked at all the stuff people were buying. Oh, that's not. We used to try stuff down.
I tell you.
Wilson Leather. We tried Wilson Leather stuff.
Oh, yes, we had Wilson Leather. That squirrel leather. We had that squirrel leather place.
I used to love Wilson Leather.
Me and Melissa went down there and put that stuff right back.
Yo, I was 33 years old, living in a room like it was a dorm, but I had a good time.
Had a great time.
You can there is joy to be found no matter what stage you are in life. So don't think that you have to have a lot in order to enjoy a lot. So that is available to you at any time.
Yes, Tiffany the Budgetnista.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay, to close out, can you give them, where to find the book, if they want to follow you on Instagram or on Facebook? And I think that's it.
I'm Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I'm at the Budgetnista on all the social platforms. And getgoodwithmoney.com if you want to cop the book and learn more about me and what I'm working on.
Perfect. Thank you so very much, Tiffany. This has been great. I hope you at home and all of our listeners have learned something today. I know I certainly did enjoy this conversation. Please make sure that you support Tiffany and all of her endeavors and get her book, Get Good with Money, at getgoodwithmoney.com. Until the next time, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.